The cicadas are out in Louisville. Good morning, it's 8 a.m. I'm in EP Tom Sawyer State Park in Louisville, Kentucky. I am headed toward the oldest geocache in Kentucky called Tom Sawyer. My plan for today was to get this cache. There are also other caches around in the park on the trails. I was planning on hiking the trails and getting a few more caches, but there are thunderstorms moving in. I think I'm going to be okay for a couple of hours. I don't think it's going to really start until about 10. So I think what I'm going to do is go get, hopefully, it's assuming I can find the oldest cache in Kentucky, and then hightail it out of here. There is a park not too far from here that has a challenge cache that I qualify for. It's a calendar, 366 calendar. So you have to have found a cache on all 366 days of the calendar year, including leap day. So depending on the weather and the time, I may or may not go get that one. But right now it's not raining. It's cloudy and cool. I brought my rain jacket with me, and I'm listening to the cicadas. I'm going to turn you around. I'm heading to the trailhead. I did not bring my trekking poles just because I didn't want to mess with them. I did bring a pen. In November of 2023, Nick and I took a road trip to South Dakota to visit Chris. And on that trip, we found the oldest cache in Illinois, which is called Beverly. We found the oldest cache in Missouri and the oldest cache in Nebraska. So I will actually be not too far from Beverly, but I'm not going to go find it because I've already found it. Beverly is great because it's in a little, it's in a park with cross-country ski trails. So they use it for cross-country ski in the winter. And in the summer, people go and hike, and there were some trail runners out there that day we saw. It was cool. It was neat. When we lived in Fredericksburg, there was a brood of 17-year cicadas that came out, I believe it was in 2012. That was something. So if the timing is correct, they should come out in about 4 years from now in Fredericksburg. Around Christiansburg and Blacksburg, where I live, I believe there were some that came out pretty recently, right? Maybe 2020 or so, I think. So it may be a while before they show up there. On that trip that Nick and I took in November, our plan was to come here and get Tom Sawyer. But that was going to be on the last day of our trip. We were driving from St. Louis to Louisville, and our plan was to stay the night in Louisville, kind of like what I did last night. Stay the night, come out in the morning and get the cache. And when we got to Louisville, we kind of were, Nick didn't feel well. We were tired of being on the road, because as much as I love road trips, you reach a point where you're ready to not be on it anymore. So we made a decision to just drive straight home from St. Louis. And we did drive through Louisville, and we stopped for lunch downtown at a neat little brewery downtown. And we decided, we said, well, maybe we can come get Tom Sawyer real quick before we go. And we looked at it and we realized that it was going to be a little bit of a hike to get to the cache, and it would take some time, and we were already going to be coming in late, so we nixed it. So I'm back, and with the rain coming in, I am not going to skip it again. I'm just going to have to chance it. So here's a fork in the road. I believe I have to go to the left. All these little holes in the ground are where the, I guess the larvae, cicadas, nymphs, I don't know, came up from the ground. The larvae, I think. They spend 17 years eating the drinking water from the roots of the trees. I guess they live like down in the roots. And when it's time, they dig their way up through the soil. They come out. And I remember in 2012, when they came out in Fredericksburg, we walked around that spring. I remember seeing all these little holes all over. Like, what are all these holes? And somebody told me that that was the cicadas coming up. And there was one day where there were so many of them. They look like, the little baby ones look like a kind of a cross between a millipede and a cockroach. And the only time they really freaked me out was when I walked out one morning. All over the front porch were all these cicada larvae crawling all over the porch, and it was like the creepiest thing ever. But it was really great because there were, the shells. We'd find the shells all over the trees, and we got to watch them emerging from their shells and turning into the cicada, the adult cicadas, and they were everywhere. It was so cool. And the sound they make, some people don't like it, but I think it sounds really cool. I love the sound they make. Anyway, I'm getting a little closer to the cache. I better check I'm coming here to another fork in the trail here. So I gotta figure out which way to go next. Check it out. These are the little baby cicadas. Can you imagine coming out on your front porch and seeing your whole entire front porch covered with those? Yeah. Creepy. But aren't they cool? That's the empty shell. So, yeah, those up over there might have been empty shells too. Very cool. I'm getting close to ground zero. Somewhere in all that mess over there. Gotta figure out a way in. Alright, I found what looks to be a geotrail. I did put on lots of bug spray this morning, so hopefully the ticks will stay away. It's I think I'm about 70 to 80 feet away right now. I need to look at my phone again. Bum, bum, bum. 2 containers. All right, I'm heading back. It was about a 0.4 mile hike to the cache and a 0.4 mile hike back. It is, I don't know, I've got my watch going. I've been out about 17 and a half minutes, so that was pretty good. There's a geocache in a cemetery right here. I guess there used to be a penitentiary here, and it was the penitentiary cemetery, and there's a cache right there. I'm going to be walking right past it, so I think I'm going to stop and look for it. I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking, so maybe we'll get another cache in this park before I head out. That was cool. It's always fun to find the oldest cache in the state. I lied, this wasn't a penitentiary, it was a psychiatric hospital, Central State Hospital. This was the site of the cemetery. I don't see any headstones. I bet if I read the cache description, it'll tell me. I'm hoping to get at least one photo of one of those cicadas. Oh, one's on me. Oop. It hit me in my neck and flew off. Ooh. They're cool. I like them. I don't know a lot about the cicadas, but what I love about them is that they lay their eggs. I guess they emerge. They eat. They transform. They fly around. I don't know if they eat anymore after that. They lay their eggs. And I think the eggs hatch and crawl down into the ground. And they stay there for 17 years. It's very cool. Well, I had to give that one a DNF. There were a bunch of hiding spots. It was not inside the cemetery because we are not, according to the cache page, they don't want us inside there. So it was somewhere in some of these trees over here. And I spent a few minutes looking. There were a couple of the trees that had poison ivy all over it. I didn't want to mess with that. I know cachers who will spend 2 hours looking for a cache. Not me. I'm not that patient. So I've been keeping an eye on the weather. The forecast keeps pushing the storms farther and further back. So I think I'm gonna take a chance and head over to this other park for the challenge cache. Here I am at Hounds Lane Park. Hounds, H-O-U-N-Z, Hounds. And I am heading toward a path that will hopefully lead me to the challenge cache. There are several other caches in this park, but I'm not going to find them. This will be the only one. When you're planning a geocaching trip like this, like a road trip, and I'm going to find some geocaches, it's really, really hard not to want to get every single geocache. For example, the Indiana Cache Odyssey cache isn't too far off my route, but I don't really want to make that detour on this trip, so I'm going to skip that one. About 4 years ago, I took a road trip to Wisconsin and back. And one of the things that I did was, when I was planning my route back, I wanted to get a cache in Michigan. So I was driving through the very northern part of Illinois and Indiana, and I popped into Michigan really quick, and I got a really cool virtual there. And then I kept on coming. I went through Ohio and back down and came home. Well, after I got home, I realized that I had passed very close to the oldest cache in Indiana and the oldest cache in Ohio without even knowing it. So I learned a lesson. If I'm going to take a road trip, look at where the oldest cache is, look where the Cache Odyssey is. There's another cache series called Cache Across America, which a lot of people do. There's one in every state of those. Look where the Cache Across America cache is. When I was in West Virginia for Geo Woodstock, I had an opportunity to find the Cache Across America cache there at Cooper's Rock park, and it was raining so hard I decided not to. And then I never got a chance to go back and find it. But the Cache Across America one is not one that I'm actually pursuing right now, but maybe I will someday. So I'll turn you around and show you my route. I'm not sure how close I am to the challenge cache. I need to take a look. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to walk through a lot of tall grass here to find it. I don't really want to, but I will if I have to. I found it. I had to do a lot of bushwhacking to get over here. This would have been a better one to get in the winter. I put on bug spray when I got to Tom Sawyer. I hope it's still good. Thanks for joining me on this geocaching adventure today in Louisville, Kentucky. I'll see you on down the road.